Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30.
Welcome to the Fins TailGate. It's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. We live that aqua and orange from the field to the mic. Breaking down the plays, man, we talk it every night. From Tua to the defense, you know we keep it tight. NFL moves, you know we got the insight. We open up the floor, yeah, it's your time to shine. Fans drop the heat with opinions realigned. You got concerns, bring them, we're gonna chime. The Fins TailGate's where we keep it prime. Welcome to the Fins TailGate, it's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. The NFL's changing, but we stay on the grind. Latest breaking stories, we don't waste no time. From the trades to the rumors, we make them all align. At the Fins TailGate, we always on the climb. We're repping the Dolphins, but it's NFL wide. From South Beach to the league, we keep it worldwide. Got the fans engaged with the energy supplied. Come kick it at the tailgate, we're riding high tide. Welcome to the Fins TailGate, it's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. So if you love the game, you know we got the gate. Tune in, speak out, don't wait, it's your fate. This is the Fins TailGate, now watch us dominate. Miami Dolphins, NFL, yeah, we integrate.
What is happening, Dolphins fans, and welcome to another episode of the Fins TailGate with your host, El Capitan. Tonight on the tailgate party that never seems to stop, we're going to get into some of this stuff about Mike McDaniel, his culpabilities, his reasonings for, being on the hot seat right now. The whole entire mainstream media has turned on this guy as quickly as I said they would, and in the manner in which, if you guys have been listening to the program for a couple of years now, in the exact manner in which it was always going to happen. We'll get into some of that. Also, trade rumors beginning to swirl. Actually, your boy, me, El Capitan, got some confirmation on what some of the trade packages look like because Tyreek Hill is on the trading block. Dolphins have declined to wanting to trade him, but all but have confirmed they have been getting calls about this, and we'll get into some of that as well. And the TuaNon crowd, the TuaSexuals, the Tua Live crew, the inside leverage, the 3 yards per carry, the type of people that really pushed this Tua agenda are hiding. They're running. And quite frankly, they're not just running about this. Look, I wanted to I wanted to do this show at I even thought about doing it early today. Right? I had it scheduled at 7:30, and then I was like, oh shit, Papa Paul's on at 8. I'm going to get in at 6. I literally said, I'm going to get in early. I'm going to get in before Papa Paul, get in at 6, do a show for an hour or so and be done with it. But, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there was a pretty big event that happened today. I don't know in the annals of history what they'll write down in this event, but there's a right-wing political activist. That's what he is. Charlie Kirk was straight up assassinated today. And to me, it doesn't really matter which way on the aisle you agree with, right? And dude, honestly, the whole thing bummed me out. I almost didn't even do a show today. Straight up. I was like, man, how am I going to talk about football? This stuff's in the forefront of everybody's mind. And it was just it's bumming me out, the whole thing. Not only does it bum me out that something happened to, a younger guy. He's got a young family. He's got kids, got a wife. He don't have kids, he's got babies, and, not just like who, because it's not so much the who that was killed. It's the manner in which he was assassinated and for what he was doing and the reasons in which this person was killed. I mean, here's a guy, for whether you like him, believe him, agree with him, whatever, has put himself out there in a very, very public manner. No different than kind of, what I do here for my Dolphins. And there's plenty of people that disagree with me and hate me for my takes on Tua. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But, there's people that, here's a guy who fought for the right to have the debate, to have the dialogue, to, take down the barriers, put a middle ground and say, I'm here on this side with these beliefs and I disagree with you on the other side. And pull up, stand on business, pull up on me, and we're gonna discuss it. Now, I confess, I know who the guy is. I've seen some of his clips. I mean, the guy's all over the internet, I agree with some, disagree with others. Sometimes he's just straight rage baiting dumb kids. And that's kind of funny content too. But there's been an agenda to like silence talk, to silence words, and that certain words are worthy of violence rather than worthy of a discussion, that people should be silenced. I don't even think the people who are saying disgusting things in the wake of this guy's death deserve to be silenced, because I want them to tell on themselves. I want to know who they are. I want to know who these people are, because I obviously see what they're standing for. And you know me, man, I'm not one to ban, block, right? It's not really the Fins TailGate way, right? We seem to always let anyone in, no matter their anything. But there is a line in which we have drawn in the past, and we have collectively said, look, I'm just not, I can't be associated. There's, we had a guy on one time. He was flat out the most bigoted, racist person I've ever heard speak, talking about elite type of, like genetic, like scary stuff. This guy's got to get out of here. There's other people in the community that say ignorant things, and they are typically held accountable, by the community at large. If you're in the Dolphins community and you're popping off at the mouth with some bigotry or some racist stuff or saying something, we're gonna point it out. Well, I'm gonna point this out too, because there's people walking around in this community on X mainly. I haven't seen it so much on YouTube, but on X, that, and some of them, maybe they're more guilty than others. But when you belittle the death of someone in the manner in which way I've seen, I can't fuck with you no more, dude. I can't. When you stand on it and you say things like, basically saying the guy deserved it, or how, like, this is what you get, or you see, essentially what I'm getting is that some of these people are saying, you see how saddening and sorrowful it is. Well, these other things happened too, and now you know what it feels like. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like there's some backlog of bad things that happen, and this is the universe balancing out. If you told me the guy, balanced out in some act of God, maybe then I mean, you'd still be a piece of shit, but this isn't what happened. This is a guy who got shot by someone far away, not willing to debate him in an intellectual way, but wanted to silence him in a cowardly act. I don't care who it is or what it is. It's different. It hits a little different. And it also hits different in the sense that, believe on whatever you want politically. But being allowed to talk about things and then facing death because you're talking about them, we ain't never going to be a civilization. And, to keep it kind of football related, that's kind of what I found a lot in this community when I came around here. Some of these people wanted to silence you. And we've seen this type of action before. I mean, this is the most extreme of this action when they actually come to you and with violent intent and bodily injury and death even. But it's all in these, buzzword microaggressions, this gatekeeping, this shadow banning, this, bullying or whatever you want to call it. There's people that seem very intent on saying you're a bad person. And meanwhile, and then other people believe them and they kind of get along in that thing. They don't make any they don't have any interactions with that person on their own. They just believe who told them that. They take it at the word and they go, "Oh, you don't fuck with that person. I don't fuck with that person." And that's a childish, clique, infantile, uneducated, as we heard not too long ago in a space on X, your GED having ass. You drop out. It's like you have no, I don't know, no individuality. You're a follower. You have no true leadership, no way to look at things objectively. You're just going to take things at your word. And, after this tragedy thing that happened, and it's not just I mean, it's horrific. Like, I don't know if you guys seen the video. There's a video online about it. There's multiple angles. It's horrific. Now, I'm not even mad at like the conspiracy nuts that are saying it's not real and stuff like that. That's fine. What I'm disgusted by is the people who are applauding it. The people who are they're happy about it. Plain and simple. They can try to say any which way in which they're meaning it, but deep down, they're happy this person lost their life because they disagree with them and the things they say. And I'll be honest, a lot of these people have been featured on this program before, where I've called them out on Dolphins Twitter and Dolphins X and said, these people are disgusting. They're terrible people. They want to cancel me and tell people to block me. And I've literally have like full blocking chains of these people that go, don't fuck with this guy because he made fun of Tua. I swear to God, because I'm making fun of their quarterback, because I take a video of something and make fun of a football player. If that kid died, I would never make fun of that. Your overarching feelings of nobility for the things that are really truly worth fighting over and not is so skewed. Your delusional life outlook is so wrong that you fight and defend in the manner for a quarterback, but in the same sentence, you're going to have the disgusting words to make fun of someone that has been killed. It's the most disgusting behavior in the Dolphins community that I've ever seen. And it's a lot of the same names I've already pointed out on this program before. And even more than that, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of them that, there's a lot of people that the main people who have crossed the line with these despicable comments, there's a lot of people that are, associated with them, like by purview. They co-sign, they rubber stamp these people's behavior. They fucks with them. They don't like Capitan. They don't like my football takes. They don't like the Fins TailGate. They don't like us. They don't like who's in my chat right now. But on these back channels, on these discords, these people are okay with the people that are writing the most disgusting and appalling human things I've ever heard. Fuck football, dude. We're talking about what we want to be as a fucking nation. What we want to be as something. Like, if we ain't got a pure flat understanding of civility in this world, of right and wrong, if you disagree with someone so much that a discussion can't happen, it has to go to fatalities. I mean, fine, go fight somebody, go put hands on. But I'm just disgusted by it, dude. And there's a lot of people in this community that I got the receipts. I see what you said. I know most of them already had me blocked, and I looked today on all the people I have blocked. It's only literally on X. I only have spams blocked. These people that have me blocked, these people that, follow me and say this just to run and troll me, I can't associate. These people who don't really fuck with El Capitan and the Fins TailGate because they dislike me, but they still follow me to troll me, and I let it slide. I don't care. The ones that are saying this shit, I won't even humor these people. Like, these are just vile, evil, disgusting people that I gotta distance myself from that shit. Like, I got morals, and like, again, y'all got real bad problems when you're taking victory laps over what happened today. It really bothers me, bro. I mean, it fucked up my whole deal, guys. I'm sorry for coming out the gates like this and talking about this. This is not what I wanted to talk about, but salute to everybody in chat. It really fucked up my whole vibe. It really did. Color, I wanted you to come up too. You had a couple things you wanted to say, maybe?
Oh, yes. I would love to. First thing I want to speak about is empathy. Empathy is not something you choose to give out. Anybody that has that understanding is confusing empathy with sympathy. Nobody has to have sympathy for somebody they don't know. Nobody's asking anybody or demanding anybody to have sympathy for a political opponent, a person you disagree with. Even if you disagree to the point that you feel it's existential, that you feel it's a matter of life and death, you don't have to have sympathy for that person. But if you don't have empathy for somebody and empathy for somebody's family in this kind of situation, if you feel the need to tell people that you don't have empathy, whether you either have a misunderstanding of what empathy actually is, the physical process that it is, you're either that.
It's just un-American.
Look, let me finish. You either don't understand the nature of empathy, you're a sociopath, or you're an animal. Because the only people that don't have sympathy, that don't have empathy and value for human life are animals. I'm sorry. Animals don't have empathy. Sociopaths don't have empathy. And I actually, for all of those who celebrate what happened today, diminish it, excuse it, reach for all kinds of reasons to make it okay, I'd have empathy for you too.
I have empathy for them because they're obviously filled with some kind of hate to like truly feel that way. And
for those that don't want to give him empathy, that think they can or cannot give somebody empathy. Okay? For those sociopaths out there, or for those people that think, oh, Charlie Kirk said some things that whatever in the past, or whatever, or holds these certain political ideals or positions. An American journalist, political activist who created a platform to go to colleges to make sure that a place we set aside as a society to be able to teach our young people how to have disagreements without ending each other's life. He goes to these places and sets up a platform for his own political enemies to challenge him. And while one of his own political enemies who vehemently disagree with him was holding a microphone that he provided them, he was fatally assassinated by a political nut who felt harmed by his speech. And if you have no empathy for his family, whether you think he deserved that or not, whether you can give him sympathy or not, you're either a sociopath, you're an animal, or you're actually empathizing with the shooter. So go fuck yourself and stop betraying our Constitution and our country. And you will pay for that. You will pay for that. The sheriff in that Utah town made sure everybody knows you will pay for violating our Constitution and betraying our nation and what we stand for. Because that's what happened today. Somebody committed treason against our Constitution today. That's what the fuck happened.
Yeah, that was a political act, bro. And
I
that's
just thought we were here to talk about Tua. I'm sorry.
I like that picture.
Thanks. I thought it was the most appropriate picture of Tua I could find.
I think it's the one most fitting for our current circumstances.
Isotopes.
Yeah, you know, John. I was just
one other. I'm sorry, Cap. I gotta conclude with one other thing, and it's a
Okay.
point that I tried to drive home on Twitter with a failed tweet apparently. When you try to justify what happened today for any reason, what you're doing is you're saying to both political sides, the extreme nutcases on both sides, you're saying it's okay. We're at war. That's what you're saying. So now, when MSNBC goes out there and diminishes what happened today by suggesting the shit they suggested, you're saying to these nutcases out there on both political sides, this is how you fight your fight. You're giving license for more violence. You're making it okay to fight this way. And you have whatever comes from this because of that mentality, whatever comes of our nation's future, the blood is on your hands.
Go ahead, John.
No, I just don't think Tua should be our starting quarterback anymore.
No, I blame.
I blame McDaniel and Greer. I talked about this so much on Twitter today.
I know, dude. It's bumming me out, bro.
I was having a somewhat decent day, and once it hit my feed, I was like, shit. Like, it took me a second to realize, like, this is reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a surreal moment. And, we lived through the Trump assassination attempt. And I feel like we've become so desensitized to those type of things, but this one still managed to
Bro,
find
I
its
don't know,
way
dude.
to
You saw the footage. It was graphic. It was so public. It was,
still crawling in my brain, bro.
bro, it was bad.
It's like a rash that just keeps festering over and
It
over.
I haven't seen anything like that on the internet since like that Faces of Death and stuff. Like it's graphic. It's very terrible, very public in front of thousands of people on live feeds, on cameras, on camera phones. The whole thing. It's bad, man. And it's the thing that sickens me. The like as bad as that was to see people in the Dolphins community. A lot of people I got problems with, right, John? I know you got problems with a couple of these people, but
So I'm not naming names because it's not a thing I do with certain people. Like, I'm not going to name any names. A couple of the people I'm close friends with, um, and they said some pretty, dissenting comments about the whole situation. But as a person, I know who they are, and I know that they're good people. It just it fucked me up for a little. Like, I'm allowed to curse on here, right?
yeah, you're good, buddy.
Yeah, it fucked me up for a little bit because I was like, shit. I guess I don't know, everything about you. Like, I'm
Yeah,
pretty vocal. I'm pretty vocal on Twitter, and I say a lot of crazy shit.
me too,
But
buddy. I'm
I
right there
I
with
thought
you.
I thought the lines were drawn on what's good and what's bad. Like, the lines have always been there, right? Like, we knew when something is wrong and when something is right. And today it wasn't even Dolphins Twitter. It was us collectively as a society. What I saw was an outpour of laughter, of happiness, of whatever you want to call it, because it's to me it's sickening. But
Yeah,
It's
because
um,
bothering me.
somebody that exercises their First Amendment that they disagree with is now silenced forever.
Yeah,
They
I,
have no other agenda, John.
I
These people have escalated this to the point where there is no other state to be in.
well, I will say this, and I know that what's his name?
They might as well walk around and wave a
So
and,
EM,
and wave the
hold
I
on,
don't even want to say it.
hold
yeah.
on,
Hold
hold
on.
on.
Go ahead, John.
So EM on Twitter brought up a very great point that was missed over over what was going on, and he said, as a society, we've become so desensitized due to all the technology and the amount of information that we receive on such a at such a quick basis, that we become desensitized as a society. And I agree with that because, um hey, it's like, oh,
But
another
at the
school
same
shooting.
time, we also become more sensitized because think about it, John. They didn't just silence him. They silenced 100,000 people that may have chosen to speak publicly about what they believe.
Yeah.
They silenced future people that were going to start up a YouTube channel
We didn't
and
just
talk
silence
about what
him
they
today
believe.
either. He's silenced forever. Like, who knows what else could have happened? You know, again, I,
They know exactly
John,
what
I know
they're
you're not
doing.
putting names on it, but, and I know that, like,
Well, I don't want to put names on it. I'd rather talk to them personally on a one-on-one level, because I feel that I want to see if you're truly an evil person or if you're just, you know, a person that reacts quickly on emotion, or if you're just, you know, someone that just has a wrong way of thinking. But a lot of the people that I saw on Twitter, and a lot of them Dolphins fans, I mean, they had some pretty evil shit in their mind when they were posting that. And it's not, it was like the great awakening today. The masks came off and everybody saw each other for who they were. Like, this was not something that was supposed to be, you're on this side or you're on that side. It's
No.
either you're a good person or you're a bad person. You believe in God or you're evil.
That's it.
And
And quite
I thought,
honestly, based on the circumstances, John, at a college campus where a guy, a free speech activist, literally with a microphone in the hand of one of his political opponents, how is that not how is that not
well,
treason, bro?
Well,
I'm gonna forget the treason, because it's one of the fundamental laws of life. You're not allowed to take another person's life away.
that's it.
Plain and simple. And today, what I saw was acceptance of that. And that should freak the fuck out of everybody, because it shows where we are as a society. It shows how devalued we've become. And it shows that, you know, do we have hope as a society for the future? If this were to continue, I feel like we're just scratching the surface. I feel like people have been acting like this or feeling like this for a long time, and now it's just like, mom and dad are not home. Let's have a party and let's just have fun, because now all
Well,
of it's
John,
coming out
John,
without
John,
without.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, John, but this is what concerns me the most, is that when events like this happen in history, a lot of bad things, we end up having to teach our kids 50 years from now about a lot of bad things that happen because of it.
Yeah, what saddens me is that it doesn't feel like the end of something. It feels like the beginning of something. And
I'll point to the sinking of the Lusitania, the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand. We're talking about moments in history where you're teaching your kids. Had that not happened, a lot of blood wouldn't have been shed.
Well, I would, just to keep it a little more local, to John's point, is
I'm not just talking about the particular person and all that and anything. I'm talking about the idea that a man was assassinated on a college campus for fighting for free speech, for exercising the First fucking Amendment.
Speech. I don't care. I don't care. Listen, my eyes were open more to the reaction to it than
me
the
too.
actual event.
Me too. I'm right there with you.
I looked at the event and I was like, holy shit.
That's my point. That's my point. The reaction to it gives license for it to continue. That's my point.
Yeah, I know. And
that's why we'll be teaching our kids about it 50 years from now.
I don't know. Again, and here's kind of where I'm at, is that, John, you're right. It has been with some of these people, this kind of festering, sort of attitude about certain political things. And I really feel like that's their calculus in a lot of their football things. And I know it sounds stupid to say that, but the same
I have a great example for you. I was thinking about this for such a long time. Like, I was driving, I was like, you know what this reminded me of? Week 1, Jets versus Bills, when Aaron Rodgers went down. It just reminded me of how many people were in group chats like, he tore his Achilles. And I just got that into my brain. And I'm like, those same people are doing the same exact thing with human life now.
Yeah.
Like the scales of they've elevated to the scales of human life.
Well, John, back in the day
when impacted that it's equated to the same thing. Well, and that was kind of, hold on, Color, because that was kind of where I started it at. I said, a lot of these same people that are acting this way in the Dolphins community on X and Twitter, or Dolphins Twitter or whatever, they're the same people that wanted to cancel me or you or Color or other people in there for their takes on a quarterback.
Right.
Like, these are the same people. It's
and Cap, I gotta point out for anybody that thinks it's a reach to equate football takes with the things that Charlie Kirk spoke about. I'll give you this. Number one, I've been called a racist because I didn't like Tua as a quarterback, and he happens to be a Brown. So anybody out there that thinks that, hey, colors are that issue is important enough to them to take action, and they're a little nutty in the head, Don't think that that reach can't that bridge can't be crossed. And secondly, John, as you well and Cap, as you know as well as I do, people were doxxed. People were threatened to be doxxed for their opinions about Tua.
Oh yeah.
All of that. Now, let me ask you this, guys, and let's not be coy. Why do people dox people?
They
What
want to
is the
silence them.
purpose of you knowing all of my personal info and where I live?
They want to
They just want
silence
to
you.
humiliate you.
They're hoping that nutcase I'm talking about decides to take action. They don't want to make you lose your job. Your company's not going to fire you because of your take on Tua. They're doxing you because they want harm brought to you.
Yeah, they're filled with hate over things that,
and
like,
these
we're
people
talking about.
Cap and John are talking about have not only doxed people, but called for doxing people.
Oh yeah, publicly. They and privately. They listen. These people are scheming on Discords, scheming in backstages on YouTube channels, scheming amongst each other. And here's the thing,
So
right?
when I say that my speech about Tua has been chilled over the years because my windows are too thin, people think I'm exaggerating, that I'm paranoid.
Well, again, you can't
because
say
it's just football. It's just football.
You can't call it out for how these people are treating you and how their actions dictate until something like this happens, and and then now it's undeniable. Whatever, I forget who said it. I think it was you, John, that all the masks came off today, and that's
right. And thank God for the First Amendment to provide that. And that's exactly what the man just died for. Thank you, John.
No, hold on, caller. I want to hear what he says. Hold on. What were you going to say?
You said a lot of the masks came off today, and here's the thing, right? Like, you know, I'm kind of just equating the two because it's the Dolphins community's reaction that has me just completely like, holy shit. And you know, I am gonna put names on it. So I'm gonna put Jay Miami on silent because he's getting up here popping off. You know, Big Fat Trey, who I've featured on this channel, calling him out. He's a dirty, nasty person. And there's a lot of people that roll with that crowd inside leverage. There's plenty of these guys. I can pull them all up. I got their receipts. And these are the same people that are happy to see what happened to Charlie Kirk. And then there's people that stamp with that. They're cool with that. And those people roll in these other bigger groups. And they're fine kicking it with these guys. But meanwhile, they're telling the Trey and these other guys that are, you know, inside leverage guys, Wally, these fucking assholes, they're literally telling other people, oh, fuck Capitan. And so when they go see Kyle Krabs or they're in Discord with fucking Alfar Tiaga and they're like, fuck Capitan too, or Chris Kaufman and they're like, fuck Capitan, they're listening to these guys' word. They're rubber stamping what's happening in this community. John, it's been happening for years. You know the TuaNon, the Tua Live crew, the whole back channel things, and these are all the same people that are coming out and showing themselves today that have zero human emotion.
They have zero self-awareness, if anything, too, because you know a lot of these people are associated with people that are up in the Dolphins, I would say, standings in terms of like being a beat reporter.
There's a lot of them. Beat reporters too. I can think of one that's in hot water right now, John.
And now these individuals that they hired to run the subpar section of their jobs just came out today and gave their blessing on Charlie Kirk being killed. And now you have that stain, or maybe it's not a stain to them, but you do have a stain on your record now that says you allowed that to happen under your watch. And to me, I mean, I'm sure they're hoping that by the end of the week everyone's going to forget about it, but
I'm not, John. I'm not forgetting about it.
Nor should you. No one should forget about what happened today. No one should forget about what happened today. Not on a scale of this size for us to witness as a society. And then immediately thereafter, like not even within an hour, but within 30 minutes, 15 minutes, the memes, the jokes, the the smoking of the cigars, like like they won the Super Bowl.
And they think they're justified because some nutcases put out memes from some other people's deaths. It's like, really, people? So we're just gonna show them. We're gonna show people we're the same as they are.
They kept reiterating, or everyone in general kept reiterating on Twitter, even though I had a difference of opinion, that should not be said. The only opinion that should have been said that everyone agrees on, and which I haven't seen, is that the taking of human life, whether you're white, black, tall, short, skinny, fat, whatever it is evil. It is evil. Charlie Kirk did not hurt anybody. All he simply did was open his mouth and voiced his opinions. He didn't lay a hand on anybody. He didn't beat his wife. He didn't commit rape. He wasn't a terrorist. All he simply did was stand his ground and advocate to the American people to use the First Amendment. Now that in itself is harmless. However, they will claim that the rhetoric he was spewing is justifiable for his death. And I want to know
Exactly
where
what they
we
do
as
claim. They're not will claim. They do claim that. They've claimed
and
that for
I
20
want
years,
exactly, and I want
70
to know
years
where
now.
I want to know where, because I must have missed this. I want to know where we got to that point as a society where now
We got that, John. I hate to make this like further back than it was, but we got there the moment the very first idea of political correctness ever entered our lexicon as Americans. That's all this is. This is the result of hyper political correctness. This is what happens when you say these ideas cannot be talked about. Those ideas cannot be talked about. Those words cannot be said by those particular people. This is what happens. This is the end result, the evolution of that. Because now I asked the question earlier. Some of these people are justifying this by things Charlie Kirk has said in the past, right? So let me ask you this. If half the country is unsure about a certain thing that Charlie Kirk reported and they disagreed, and then they find out, oh my God, I was wrong. Do they now deserve what Charlie Kirk got today?
No.
That's what we're saying here.
Nobody deserves what Charlie. I don't care.
There's people that are saying he deserved to die because
this is the thing.
he believes something that is debatable.
Even if Charlie Kirk was the most evilest person on earth, you are not his judge, jury, and executioner to make that decision. I'm sorry.
See, that's what I'm saying. When somebody has decided this is the reality, and he can't have that opinion. Otherwise, if somebody dies, then I'm going to empathize with the killer.
Or the situation.
Like, really? It's
No,
barbaric.
I understand.
You're a fucking animal.
So, welcome up, Jay. And John, I get it, right? You're not interested in exile or anything like that, but this is more. And again, a lot of these people got me blocked anyhow, but I don't just block people. But
there's been a lot of blocking today. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I have now begun to like block people because I can't be around. Like, listen, I get it. They don't like me. They don't like my football takes, and they hate me and tell people to hate me, and I can live with that. I can't live. These are the same people that if I died in a car wreck and someone put it on there, they would clap my death. That's who these people are. That not probably they would be like, oh, I'm glad that fucking asshole El Capitan in his purple jacket.
Trey, I will tell you this: Trey wished death upon me on a weekly basis. He wished I got cancer and died, and that the worms. I will never forget the things he wrote. And I just sat
because of your football takes, right? And that's
because of football takes.
No, not because of my football takes, but because I put the MAGA hat on my avatar, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he supports Trump." So what? I supported Bernie Sanders at one point. I support Trump. I go with the win, baby. If I like,
believe it or not, a lot of Trumpers did. That's why I don't understand why everybody thinks Trumpers are so right wing. It's like,
and And
They were all Bernie Sanders supporters.
This is the tray we're talking about, and this is what he
got
had to
screwed
say.
over by the same media machine that pumped Hillary Clinton. So what are we talking about here?
And this is the same tray that will lead charge of a bunch of cancelers on a post that I have about Tua, and they're all like, "Oh, fuck that." This literally happened a month ago. I did a show like 5 weeks ago about this exact topic, that this guy canceling me has this to say about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And then look, you know what? Again, I'm putting all of them on blast. I know we ain't talking about putting receipts, but I don't give a fuck. Fuck these assholes. I'm not fucking with them anymore. I don't want to hear their football takes because they don't come from a place of wanting what's best for a football team. These are the people that are happy that they're bringing not football to the table to me anymore.
Well, had anybody considered what happened if all these political pundits started ending the people that they hate? Like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, look,
they have much more power than we do.
Here's another one, John, that you found, and I appreciate that. It says deciding if I should pop it or save it for the big one. And this is what he's got. He's got his
champagne bottle
out, watching the death of Charlie Kirk, ready to pop champagne.
And what's the big one?
Somebody in the community.
You know what the big one is? You know what the big one is? The one that was already attempted twice.
Well, that's what he's talking about. He's like one down, one to go kind of shit.
Right. He was basically saying like the big one meaning Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, where's the Secret Service to talk to these people? I'm sorry, that's straight treason, man.
You think they're going to talk to them? They're going to turn their lives upside down. Like,
I don't. You know what? They have the First Amendment right to say that. They basically, what I'm saying is, they got the First Amendment right to tell everybody they're traitors to that fucking right.
Well, whether or not you have a right to say it, it shouldn't be said, not because the government is telling you it shouldn't be said, but because your own moral compass should be the one saying,
yeah, you should have
maybe I shouldn't be saying something like this.
And if it's about a hey, look at me thing, then you all are really sick.
I don't want to hear how I'm trolling you because you don't like it either, because that ain't cool with me either. Like this ain't this isn't trolling Tua and confirmed with that. Tua didn't die tragically and I fucking troll him. And like, okay, here's another one. Shout out to Don Shula Corleone, the homie. He said this guy tried to tweet this, Willy Wonka. He's with Inside Leverage and that whole thing, 5 Reasons Sports and fucking 3 yards. It's actually more 3 yards per carry, not really 5 Reasons Sports. But like, here's what he has to say. The whole degradation when we heard the Charlie Kirk news, essentially saying him and all the people he fuck with when they heard the Charlie Kirk news. And here's like one of his,
these people were that damaged by Charlie Kirk's words.
Here's one of his followers
shit,
right
that's
here.
Weak.
Here's one of his followers right here. This guy, Fins Up Chris. That's at Fins Up Chris _. He says, I don't give a fuck more about Charlie Kirk than the 100 people who die every single day because of gun violence. I'm supposed to care more about for him. Also, like, what the fuck?
Again, a debatable, stupid talking point.
No one's saying don't feel sad for gun violence. What we're saying feel sad for is this guy got fucking murdered for talking and trying to practice one of our core.
Tried to call out gun violence in Chicago.
Cap, can I say something?
Hold on, really quick. If you can't
go ahead, John, and then we'll get to Mr. Polk.
If you can't say you feel sorry for Charlie, then at least
Wes.
put a post that says, I feel sorry for his wife. I feel sorry for his 2 kids. I feel sorry for his family that's involved. But you totally devoided that whole part and we're just focused on your own private bias fucking opinion. You wanted to be hateful. You wanted to spread evil. And now you want us to say, okay, no, I'm not living in a world where
you're living vicariously through the shooter. That's what you're doing. You're living vicariously through the shooter because even if you're just as much an animal as he is.
You're co-signing
or she.
And here's somebody else, and no, he got his name called out today, and it's Dre. And John, I'm not gonna ask you to comment on this because I'm gonna comment on it for my damn self. Dre, I don't think Dre and I have only always been acquaintances. I always tried to be really nice to Dre. I
So
know
Dre's been a good friend of mine.
I know he has, but I know Dre's never.
Dre's been a very good friend of mine, and I will
And
not
he's
speak.
highly intelligent, bro.
He's extremely
So it's
intelligent,
it's just
and
he's one of the people that I would reserve the thought that maybe he's just confusing the concept of empathy with sympathy. And I would understand if he didn't have
I don't think there's
sympathy
any
for the guy.
first of all, I don't think there's any confusion. I've known Dre on a personal level, and Dre is has a good heart. I've seen him donate to a lot of charities. I've seen him say, I immediately liked him because I could tell he was a good person. What he did today, I disagreed with. And I told him privately and I told him publicly, I said, listen, I know who you are. So if you were obviously if you were the other guy, Trey, not Dre, but Trey, we'd be talking differently. But I know who you are. I've seen the good things that you've done. I know how intelligent you are. And I know that something must have bothered you for you to reach this point. So let's peel back the layers and let's talk about it. Because there are certain people that I do want to have a conversation with, and there are certain people that I just want to say, go fuck yourself. I never want to see you again. Dre is not that person.
I
Dre's not that person. I would say, go fuck yourself. I never want to speak to you again. Because
I
Dre has
feel
a good
you.
heart, but I would like to peel back the layers and I would like to get what he was thinking and to reach some sort of semblance. But that's my take. I will not speak. I will not be on here to speak bad about Dre.
I
That's not
wouldn't
who I am.
expect you to because I know you and Trey have a different relationship.
Nor
I'm
I,
not,
nor I.
and
Again,
I know.
I simply think it's a semantical thing when it comes to empathy and sympathy on his part. To be honest
So
with you, John, just
again,
explore that before the next time you talk to him, if you do need a
here's the deal. Look, I'm not fucking one way or another with Dre, but and I know he don't care because he doesn't give a fuck. But I can't fucks with that dog. Like, and I heard again his tweets and whatever, but how he came into the space to explain himself was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Fuck that guy. I I can't. I get it.
So he put out one tweet, then he got attacked, and then Dre being Dre, he tripled down
I know
and
I know
essentially
that, but I
and
mean,
did it like
bro,
more and more and more on purpose,
here's
not
the
as to
thing,
stand your
John.
ground, but more as to irritate you.
John,
Which
here's
is
the thing.
yeah.
I've watched this community, this Miami Dolphins community. It's been used on me, and I've been a part of doing it to others. We hold motherfuckers accountable around here. We've done it on this show, on Twitter. We've had full fucking struggle sessions, and I hate them and I don't like them. Sometimes I'm trying to move it along. Sometimes I'm trying to do this, but I do know this. A lot of motherfuckers be held accountable for what they say, and bitches out here be holding me accountable for everything I say. I gotta hold these people accountable for some of what they're coming out of their fucking mouths right now. And that, whether or not, I'm gonna fuck with them or block them or never fuck with them again remains to be seen. But there's a lot of people I'm just not, I ain't got time for it. I got no time for any of that shit because I see how you treat me on my football takes. And then this is how you treat real life shit too. I'm putting together a lot of pieces to say, you don't treat me right, you don't treat people right, and you're a fucking bad person. I got no time for it, bro. I don't. And a lot of these people are a lot of the people that were coming for people's necks, fucking running people up out of the community over fucking Tua and not liking him and making it some political fucking statement. That's what they were doing, and they continue to do so. And now the Tua debate is kind of fading out. They got a new political statement they're willing to stick their balls out for, and I'm fucking here to chop them off. Fuck up out of here. I ain't got no time for it no more. I don't. And that's where I stand with a lot of these motherfuckers out here right
Well,
now.
that's fair. Listen, they're entitled to their opinions, and you're entitled to your opinions.
Yep, and I get it. The community's big enough where they can go on their way and I can go on mine.
Right.
But,
Exactly.
and that's cool. But I got to be honest, I'm super surprised and disgusted from the response from everything. Go ahead, Mr. Polk.
I had the unfortunate opportunity to actually see the video. I mean, complete video.
I seen it too,
What I
buddy. It's
saw,
terrifying.
what I saw was a man lose his life, and his life, and because he lost his life, like I said, it's going to scar and tear up his children, his wife, his children. I mean, this man lost his life, and people are sitting up here trying to make it political. I'm gonna say this: anybody that wakes up and puts that thought in their head about going and taking somebody's life, there's something wrong with you. You need help. There's something wrong with you because it's not like I said. That's a man with wife and kids. Now they're grieving the loss of this man.
It's not wife. It's not. It's
I
not
had the
family.
unfortunate to see Kennedy get, be assassinated, Martin, on TV, and Martin Luther King and all that. All what I'm saying with all this is this is a human being's life that was lost because somebody had the evil thought in their mind and they carried it out on it. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's sick. It's evil, and what have you. And anybody that sits up there and glorify it, you need to get some help too.
Well, that's what I said today.
Go get some help
I said
because
today.
that's not nowhere near normal. It's how in the world can you sit there and smoke a cigar and drink liquor this to a man who just lost his life?
I didn't do it when George Floyd died.
I know what his
I
political
didn't. No,
thing
no, no,
was,
no.
but
A lot
that's
of
not the
people.
point.
Hold on. I didn't do it when George Floyd died. I didn't do it when the Ukrainian woman died. I didn't do it when Trayvon Martin died. Nobody should do it when anybody dies.
Sick.
But they
Exactly.
are. But they are. But they're equating that what he said about George Floyd was the reason behind how they feel. And in my
But
response,
In
my
that
hold on,
space, in a
my
space, he said this,
response,
Mr. Paul.
my response was, so you let society dictate to you how you should feel based on the biases and races, whatever you want to call it, of other people. So you let society dictate who you are as an individual. You didn't look into yourself and say, wait a minute, what happened to Trayvon was wrong. What happened to the Ukrainian girl was wrong. What happened to George Floyd was wrong. This is wrong too. Instead, you gave it
exactly.
a pass. You gave it a pass because they made fun of George Floyd. So now
No,
this
no,
is
he didn't. No, but see, that's the thing, John. We're not talking
no.
about
We're not
making
gonna we're
fun.
not gonna
Hold
litigate
on,
George.
no,
But
no, no.
don't
We
litigate
got to
George
stop
Floyd.
this, man, right now. The man that you and I heard in that space said that Charlie Kirk perpetuated the idea that he died a different way than the coroner's report. Now, that was something at the time that Charlie Kirk said it that 50% of the country was unsure about. Okay, so that's what he's saying was so incendiary that Kirk deserved to lose his life.
Correct.
We're not talking about making fun of George Floyd.
And
We're talking about trying to get the facts right,
right.
so that a bunch of people aren't manipulated by the powers that be into marching for something that didn't need to be marched for, whether it did or not.
Hold on. Say, for example, that just hear me out. Just hear me out for a second, caller. Can you give me a minute? Let me explain it to you. Whether or not George Floyd had fentanyl in his bloodstream, the man was crying for his mom.
Yeah, it was sad.
He peed on himself.
Of course.
And he couldn't breathe. I didn't fucking laugh. I didn't fucking make.
Putting aside my feelings about the way police fucking have, subdue people.
Hold on. I didn't fucking make jokes. I didn't make memes. I didn't think it was something to take lightly because at the end of the day, a man lost his life.
Now, I don't recall Charlie Kirk doing any of that either.
And regardless
and left
of
behind
what the
a wife
facts
and
were,
kids.
a man lost his life crying for his mom, a grown man. And that shit hit home. So I have no empathy towards people that say, oh, well, they made fun of George Floyd. I wasn't one of those people. And neither should you be one of those people to be fucking saying, oh, I'm glad that Charlie Kirk is dead.
Just because others made fun of it, of George Floyd. Right.
But
and here's the shocking truth, okay?
That's
because
an
of the
excuse,
people.
John. You know what that means? It's an excuse, bro.
Here's the shocking truth that this is how these people act, walk, talk. Because if someone killed me, they would say, "Well, you heard what he said about Tua Tagovailoa." That's the type of action these people got when it comes to human lives. Like that their beliefs trump what is right and wrong. That's how they get. My belief, my personal belief on right and wrong trumps actual life and death.
Can I throw you a
Like,
Because
curveball?
they think they're in a life and death
Can I
struggle.
throw you? Can I throw you a
They've
curveball
been
now?
indoctrinated to
Hold on,
believe
Color.
all
that
right,
they're in a
Color,
life and death
we're not
struggle.
going down all the
Color,
way.
you're gonna love
That's what
this.
it is, bro.
Color, you're gonna love this. The same people that adore Tua, love Tua, love who he is as a person, have nothing to say that he's the person that voted for Donald Trump. He's a person whose family supports Donald Trump.
It's true.
He's a person that probably supported Charlie Kirk and his views. But they
Surprised we
don't
didn't get to
mention
tweet about
that
it yet.
part. Why don't they talk about that part? Because why?
Well, I've seen
Because
some
it's not
smatterings
convenient.
back when they saw his name played at the Trump rally or whatever. I saw some smatterings of it.
Yeah, but they're willing to let that go because of their personal feelings, because they don't stand for their beliefs. But then, they'll stand for personal feelings and beliefs on a life
You
and
also
death
have to
situation.
consider how many of these nutcase memes that people see are just bots trying to stir the pot. Do you realize how many, like when Elon took over Twitter, what percentage of accounts they realized were just straight bots?
There's
there
so
still
many
is.
bots on Twitter, man. It's
So many.
absolutely insane. Like it's always the
You're
same
letting a
shit.
bot control your emotions
No,
because
no,
they posted some mean thing about
it's
George
so
Floyd.
insane. I thought Elon was gonna clean that up. It's been 10
Well,
times
remember,
worse.
it did get cleaned up, and then recently we had that wave. Remember when people are doing spaces and had 7,000 people in them, like a couple months ago? You remember that shit?
No.
They had like a whole fucking bot raid or something.
Well,
Like
they also aren't looking towards the, certain communities for the bots either. It's not like
anyhow,
the spider. It's not like the spider is trained on football community. You know what I mean?
Let's slide it over to Jay. What's up, Jay?
Man, I just got free. What's going on, you guys, man? What a fucking day. What
Sad,
a
bro.
day.
Not cool at all.
It's just nasty, man. Like I said, I was just witnessing a lot of the shit, man. And again, shout out to Lou and them, man. Obviously being brave enough to and I get sports is one thing, right? But there's not a lot of people on this app who are willing to actually talk about the shit that matters, right? Because it's like I get it. We're all on Dolphins Twitter and we love football and it's all fun and games too, but I've also witnessed the same stuff on Dolphins Twitter too. And again, I'm not a guy for politics, but I've seen death threats over if you don't agree with somebody about the Miami Dolphins. Our own fan base together, right? Like I'm not talking about the Bills.
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking about the
to be fair,
Patriots.
Jay, that was mostly you that was doing it.
Yeah, our own
Well,
fan base on each other. You're right, Jay. Yeah.
and so when we talk about politics, right? And it's like, and again, something I don't like to really chime in on, but it's insane because we see people's true colors. And some of us, if you peep game, we've seen this a while now. It's not just brand new because of Charlie Kirk's passing. It's not brand new. These people have been doing some of this nasty shit, have been doing this on Twitter for a while, but nobody says anything. Everybody kind of keeps their nose down. And then when something happens like this, and they then decide to show out,
Yeah, everyone
it's
has a
like
voice all of a sudden.
it becomes like, oh, it's just like, and again, I don't tell anybody how to move. I don't tell anybody who to be friends with. It's at the end of the day, it's an app that when you shut off, you have to go back to the reality, right? I've just seen people, get kicked off this app by bullying and just ganging up on and get driven off this app, right? But like, we don't keep that same energy for some of these folks that feel like it's okay to be this type of person. And John said it best, right? It's not that hard
Hold on, man.
to be a good person. Now,
Hold it
you
down,
have
Color.
We're
to.
glad to have you guys on aboard, man. We've been
Hold it
trying
down,
for
Color.
5 seasons, man. We're glad to have you guys on board. Real quick, I just want to say, Jay, I don't mean to interrupt what you're saying because you're cooking like a master chef. But when it comes to I just do want to bring a little bit of positivity and respect to this discussion for a second, because what you're saying, Jay, also I've seen in the inverse today too, and I was quite pleasantly surprised, I would say.
Yep.
Okay, guys like Nick Hicks, outright tweeting out to respect to TD. That's how you do that. You put aside. Who cares what TD thinks about the training staff at Miami and whether Nick Hicks has anything to do with that or whatever else? Who cares about all that? There's bigger things going on here. And a guy like Nick Hicks can recognize that. So shout out to him, even though I could argue that some of the gatekeeping access and all that, whatever. It's not like he's called out the people Jay's talking about in the past. So, but there's always a time for change, and there's a time to stand up and respect to him for doing that today. So go on, Jay.
Yeah, man, and like I said, and sometimes I'm not a big fan of John. It took me a while to get accustomed to John. But like again, even situations like that, man, you just got to kind of figure out that the type of person people are. But like John, drives me up the fucking wall sometimes with his past posts. But at the end of the day, we can cut the trolling aside when we have to. But a lot of folks again showed their colors today. It's just crazy to me, right? Because like we talk about all the bad stuff that I hate to bring up racism and all that stuff because people say, oh, you don't have a place in this, which cool, I get that, no problem, but I can also distinguish from right from wrong. I was raised that way. I am born in Miami, Jackson Memorial. Again, I did not grow up in a gated community. You're right. Like my parents taught me, single mother taught me the shit that I need to know to where I'm at in today's world, right? Respect. There's no such thing as fucking color. It's personality, man. How that
Well,
person
Jay,
holds
does it
himself.
count? Does it count if you grew up fishing on the land that the gated community is on now? Does that count as living in a gated community?
I've seen some ugly stuff, man. Listen, I think at the end of the day, regardless, even hell, wherever you grew up from, even if you grew up like a damn Donald Trump and you had money for the whole your entire life, it costs $0 to be respectful, right? It costs $0 to treat somebody with kindness.
Facts.
It's free, right? You don't have to be a piece of shit person because you don't agree. Like, dude, it's crazy that I've lost friends over like political shit without me even saying anything because I didn't agree with their takes. Even though we've known each other for so long, now we're no longer friends because I don't necessarily believe in certain takes that person had.
Right.
And
That's so weak, bro. They're literally
it's
letting
just
people
crazy to
control
me
their
that
thoughts, dude.
it's like, and some of these people that some of them you meet at football games and you get to actually know who that person is, and it's like you pretend to be good old friends and shit, but God forbid you don't agree with something. It's like now you thought you had a friend and now you have a number one enemy. It's crazy that it takes politics and stupid shit like that people get so like, again, even with the presidential shit. Just for the record, John, don't cry about it. But like, I don't vote, right? I don't care who the fuck the president is. I pretty much worry about my own pockets. I worry about what I can do for my family. I just don't really get into that because I'm just like, who's next to fuck up the country, right? I've never just been a fan of that. So like, I don't really care that people go to like hell and back to be like, this is my president and I'm gonna die for this shit. Like, I don't get that fucking wild. It doesn't. But like, I'm not gonna go to John or somebody else and be like, oh shit, you voted for Trump? You're a racist. I can't fuck with you. I don't like you. You're a piece of shit. Oh, you voted for Kamala? You're a pussy. You're stupid. I don't fuck with you. Go to hell. I hope you die
Yeah,
tomorrow.
not knowing that in the political world they've redefined all these words, bro. How would
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
if you're not political? You know what I mean?
So like for me, I just never been like that. And again, it's just like I just see a lot of communities with people, and it's like at the end of the day, those are the people that you tend to surround yourself with, right? So like we're fast to kick people out, but for the ones that are in our circle, at what point do you hold them accountable and to be like, yeah, man, like this ain't it, which I've seen it before happen, but like that's my thing. It's like, okay, well, explain yourself. Why do you think this? Why do you think that? And they stand on business, right? And kudos to those people who just don't care, and that's their opinion. And again, it's just an opinion. But like, if I had a friend who pulls some shit like this today, which I hate to say it, I've seen one or two today that I was like, oh well, I fuck with that person, but like it just draws me off a little bit because I'm like, damn, why do you have so much hate in your heart? Like, bro, somebody died.
That's pain,
They
bro.
have
Fear.
two beautiful children
They have
that
wife and kids.
will no longer see their father. And when they get old enough to see their father, it's going to be that fucking Twitter video is what they're going to see,
Bro,
right?
when somebody feels the need to do what that person did today,
It,
okay, hold on, it's desperation. And desperation is usually caused by fear. And now what we need to do as a society is open up our brains and be honest with ourselves and look at what we've witnessed for the last 20 years and say, how has that fear been fomented? That's what, until that happens, none of this is going to change.
Again, and that's what I'm saying, and it shows you, right? Because a lot of people on Twitter, some don't have, like, for me, I really don't show myself too much on Twitter because I've seen how and it's not, I just seen how nasty people dig. I've seen how bad it is, and it's just, I'd rather just not get mixed because I go to Twitter for fun, man. It used to be more fun when we can all just kind of mess around. But then, like,
Yeah,
Cole,
isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how Twitter was fun until it became the real world?
That and like even for instance, like back in the day, it used to be all fun. Before we had like all the gangs and everybody kind of split up, and it is what it is. We all choose our sides, but like, and then it slowly started becoming political. When we like that was like my number one thing that I've always stood by was like when I watch my football, bro, I don't put politics in it, right? Don't put politics in my football. That's my getaway from the world, right? And now it's become political and everything. And that's how Twitter has now become. And sometimes, like I said, that's why I said shout out to Lou and them, because some people worry about their clicks, their likes, the clout, and they're scared to speak up. They're scared to have difficult conversations, and they're scared to call people out.
Yeah, there's no interaction. It's just posting and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So like some people they're not, it's like they're scared of what's going to happen on the app. Like, am I going to lose followers? Am I going to be able to say what's up to my same homies? Like, are we going to wake up next week? Caps back. Are we going to wake up next week? And are we just going to put everything behind us? And we're going to forgive all those people that told, like that they were like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I came to my senses and I apologize. For me, that's a lie because now you've shown that you have a nasty side of you. Like there is something mentally wrong with you that for you to be like, pretty much with you're popping champagne bottles.
Yeah, you might as well be a scam artist on the internet, right? As far as I'm concerned now.
Let me hold on one second. But like this is my thing, right? Let me land real fast. But like this is where I'm at, right? And this is the thing, right? It takes all of us, regardless of fucking color. It takes all of us as one to make the change, right? It takes all of us to make a change. So when you wake up in the morning, you have decisions. You can go post on Twitter. You can wake up in the morning, go to work, say what's up to somebody. You really can make somebody's day if you want to be quite honest. You can choose to be a good person. You can choose to ignore the negativity and say, you know what, I'm better than that. What can I do to probably make this guy's, guy, female, whatever it is, what can I do to brighten up their day? Or what can I do to stay positive within myself to where I'm not going to let that hatred get the best of me? And because I did it, maybe somebody will follow suit and see what I'm doing, and maybe they might want to do it versus fitting in with everybody that hates to be like, yeah, that feels fucking good, dude. Let's do the stupidest shit and let's just be evil ass people. And you know what? Yeah, that's exactly how we get change. That's exactly how we move forward. Is the world not fucked up already? I mean, bro, we see shit on the news every day. There's real life out there where if you have children, you can understand that a little bit more than someone that doesn't have children. Our job is to protect our children, right? We're dads. So obviously we look out in the world, right? We look, again, I hate to say it, but people that show their true colors of how nasty they are. Those are the people I don't want my kids fucking with. Like that's not a healthy person for my kids to know, right? So I take my kids out of that situation. And how do I do that? I stop talking to you. I don't fuck with you. We're not hanging out outside of fucking Twitter or any of this shit. We don't. I move on. Guess what? I can move on without bashing you, without calling you names, without throwing you out there and letting everybody cook. Like, I can just simply erase you and move on without having all this hate in my heart to say what I want to say, and I could just move on to the next, bro. That's it. And I can teach my children the same thing, what to do and what not to do. Because guess what? When your children see that hate when they get older, guess you're showing them it's okay. So Dad's wilding out, man. Dad's really saying some crazy shit. Somebody died and he's saying, "Fuck yeah, let's go." So that's what I'm saying. Like
and as long as the majority of society agrees with my opinion, I can get away with it. I'll even be glorified for it.
I want to say something real quick. I'm not trying to be funny. I was watching Judge Judy when this happened, and they interrupted Judge Judy to say what happened. As soon as they said that that Kirk got shot, my first reaction, and I'm not trying to shove Christianity down anybody's throat. My first reaction was I prayed for that man. I prayed for him, and I asked the Lord. I asked that she spare his life, if not to take care of his wife and children, because this man's life was lost. And I mean, that was my first reaction. It wasn't about who he was and what he says and this and that. It was about praying for this man because he lost his life. He got shot. And then, like at first when it happened, they said, okay, they'll rush into the hospital and what have you. And like I said, I prayed and asked that, that his life be spared. But a few minutes later, they said that he passed away. And that, it just, I just, it's just crazy. How can you wake up in the morning and have that kind of mentality to say, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go shoot somebody. I'm going to go kill somebody. How can you have that kind of mentality? You got to get, I don't know. It's just so crazy. It's crazy.
Shout out to KP.
This is what we want, what the younger generation of kids to see. And then I used to work in the school, and me and talk about this a little while ago. I used to work in the school. When these shootings at these schools start happening, I went to my principal and I told her, I said, make sure you give me the best radio possible, because if something goes down, I want you to call me right away. Because I don't have no kids, but these kids at this school are my kids.
Yeah.
These teachers here educating these kids are my teachers. They're here for the kids. I'm here for the kids. I don't care about. It's not about what color the skin are. It's not about what religion or what. It's about these are kids that are trying to get an education, and now they have to be worried about coming to school and have to be worried about going back home. I mean, it's sad. It's just plain sad, man. It brings tears to my eyes. But that's why I went and told the principal what I did. And I tell you, it's just sad. I hate the fact that it's becoming a norm for kids to have to go to school and worry about that. From we talking about elementary kids, middle school kids, high school kids in college.
I got one in high school and one in middle school, Mr. Paul.
Exactly.
This was out of school.
And it shouldn't be like this.
This shit was out of school.
These kids should
It's out of fucking school.
These kids should go to school to get an education to have a good life. That's what they should be doing. Not having this fear in the back of their heads that I don't know if I'm going to go home.
So, shout out to KP. He says we must forever conduct ourselves on a high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. That was Dr. Martin Luther King that said that. I recognize the quote, KP. Yeah, to me, the end of the only way discussion is ever ended when people don't like one side, it always goes to violence. And really, it's crazy because typically people want to silence things. I know that, Mr. KP, that's Dr. King. What ends up typically happening is kind of what you're seeing the reaction now. There's a lot more talking. People will tell on themselves, and then the people who I got to be honest, Christian values. I'm a Catholic, and you guys see how I get down. I'm just as messy as they can get, but my heart, my soul, and where who I really am and truly believe, lies with Catholic and Christian values. My kids are starting catechism classes. We choose to let our kids start a little late because we're kind of progressive Catholics. We don't baptize and do communion while they're real young. We want them to grow in a world and then bring them to God and have them decide for themselves, because that's the way it really works. I don't shove it down their throat. I don't preach. I'm not fucking preachy. I don't do all that. But these values aren't just of Christian and Catholic. These are human being empathetic values that,
Exactly.
to me, and Jay, and I'm going back, I've been a part of far too many in the past 4 years of struggle sessions, holding people accountable, being held accountable for my words and blown out of proportion, trying to insinuate that my words about football takes mean something of a manner. Well, I'm going to take these people at their word, because a lot of the people that are now slinging across with this nasty talk about Charlie Kirk are the same people pointing fingers trying to say, oh, this person's racist, this person hates Tua because of political reasons, this guy's a piece of shit, you name it. These are the same people, and I've got no time for it. Like, it was one thing being thrown at me because I don't take things personally from people that I find to be just clowns. But at this point, these aren't people. It kind of goes to like back when we had that Bills fan on that was a fucking raging bigot racist. He was a guy who used to be always in the chat, never came up. But once it goes beyond a discussion and there's just like deep-seated roots of hate, I have no ability to change that, and I don't even want to change it. But at this point, I just want it away from me. So, Jay, no, I'm not going to leave this down. I don't want these motherfuckers around me, bro. I ain't got no time for it. I feel I'm not even angry at them.
That's why we're saying
sorry for them
to bring this shit over here to YouTube and leave Twitter.
Pretty much, don't get me wrong.
What you're saying is no different than walking away from a cockroach, dude. That's all
it.
You're doing.
I don't hate it. I don't I have empathy for them.
You mean this ain't Welcome to Joe's Apartment?
Yeah, no, it's not. But to me, I don't even. It's not even like they're not human to me. I don't hate them. I don't wish any things on them. It's plain and simple.
Yeah. Hey, real quick though, Cap. Too, I want to make
sorry for them. I just can't have it around me. I don't.
And I want to make something very, very, very clear. And this is something that also has been being brought up today, right? First and foremost, what happened today was fucking horrifying, but also with the school shooting, there's no such fucking thing in the world that we're using one tragic fucking incident to be like, oh my God, this is more important than the fucking. First and foremost, both of those incidents that happened are fucking equal. There's not one situation that's more worse than the other. Both situations, and because that was a lot of people's takes today was, oh, you care about this, but you don't. What in God's name would you think for a second that most of us with brains and hearts do not give a fuck about a school shooting, but you think we're gonna care more about the Charlie Kirk? There's no.
He ain't say that.
Important.
No. This was on Twitter.
No. This was what's been going. No.
Yeah,
He's not putting that on Mr. Vogel.
No.
Okay,
no. This is just a topic that hurt me because like the rebuttal was, RIP to Charlie Kirk, man. It was just you guys care more about this, but you guys don't give a damn. Like, yes, we give a fuck. There is
Yeah.
no right in this horrible situation. But the problem is what you're witnessing on Twitter is that's exactly why we have all this crazy shit that happens because of all these people who have so much fucking hate. This is the problem. There's no you
They
cannot
rally themselves.
you can't compare like it's both insane like things that like again Cap, you're a dad. Crazy Dolphin, he just said, he has his kids, like he just said, right? He's a protector at the school and all that good stuff, right? Crazy Dolphin. So, and like,
Yeah.
again, if you have kids out there, what fucking universe do you think that us parents whose kids go to school do not give a fuck about that situation? And that's why I hate when people just assume they just go off the fucking rails because why? Because they're trying to get their agenda
Yeah.
across. They're trying
Yeah.
to get their agenda. So when they get their, like you said, Cap, right? When they get their troops to rally behind it, now those people who want to play nice, they think they're doing better, but they're just as fucking nasty. They just think they're better than everybody because they're defending one situation and shitting on the other versus how about you show sympathy for both fucking situations? It's okay. We're not judging you. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
I consider myself an evolved enough human to not disassociate one from the other. They're both tragedies, and it's sad, and that's the facts. And that there's no discerning to the other. And what I'm seeing from people is, oh, and I said this earlier, oh, you feel it now. Well, you should have felt it for these things. And some of these things I don't hear about, right? This is blatant all over the place, whatever.
No, but you know what's crazy is that there's probably signs all over the place there that say gun-free zone.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I'm certain of that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I could argue we're talking about
obviously signs don't stop criminals.
Well, as I opinionated earlier, this is an issue of treason for me. What happened today to Charlie Kirk? Okay,
Fuck yeah.
So, but I also have the opinion that in the case of a school shooting, I also see it as treasonous that we put our kids in a place and don't allow our society to protect them with the Second Amendment.
Yeah,
that's equally as treasonous. So when we're talking about what are we going to spend our energy on? How about both? Because the real issue is the fact that we have no way to fight for ourselves. Not our voice, not our Second Amendment, not any amendment.
Well, I think again, I don't know. I'm not saying that isn't the final line drawn, but the problem is the discourse between disagreements on sides of whatever has gotten to the point where it's about violence and people applauding violence. I'm all about, I'm all about, put hands on somebody, right? Like we could fight this out. We could debate it out. But when you're talking about ending someone's life, but not just that,
it's just like cold-blooded.
It's cold-blooded, but it was cowardly too. It's from a distance in an open thing while he's.
And with all due respect, KP, that wasn't what I was suggesting. I wasn't that's a straw man. That has nothing to do with the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is the issue we're trying to compare to is whether we talk about this one guy that got shot or all these children that got shot. When I'm saying the issue is above all of that, the first, second, third, you name the amendment, and it's the issue.
I would say, again, the fact that these things are happening, they're all in correlation. And the correlation I'm seeing as someone who doesn't partake in politics, I'm aware, but I just refuse to get involved because I'll be honest, there's no winning. There's no winning. Both sides lie, both sides fearmonger, and that's the fucking problem. That's the problem. You have these strong beliefs because these people are telling you about things that are happening in places you're not looking at. You don't live. I don't know, KPIC put a little bit in there about, the war planes and stuff, and I know that they're sending like soldiers to cities in America and stuff like that. I got to be honest, I don't know what's going on there. I'm not educated enough to comment on it, and most people aren't, because they don't fucking live there. Now they can put their feelings on what they think is happening, or they can let someone else put a battery in their back and tell you what's happening, but they don't live there. That's telling you, and you don't live there to see. So I don't take anything at word. I never do. I don't take other people's word. I'll have to go to that city and see for myself and find out. And until then, I don't have a point. And I'm not standing for beliefs and clapping for death one way or the other. All I'm going to do is look at it and go, shit, that's sad. But what I do know is that in certain places, it's not happening. And the reason it's not happening is for hopefully that there's enough good people living around in those areas. And when you have what is plain as to see, so much people on both sides willing to talk about, oh, stockpile your weapons, a war's coming, oh, it's okay to be violent to these people because they don't understand. These are politicians saying it. There are people in the media saying it. And there's people in this Dolphins community that believe that violence is a solution. And I agree. Violence is never a solution. It is an end in a lot of ways, because whatever the violence is perpetrated on will end, but it's never the solution to the problem. And that's it. Violence is only a response. That's it. Now, the only way to respond to violence is with violence. And in America, we want you to respond to violence with superior violence. That's why we have the Second Amendment. But just willy-nilly, just let's go get it.
Oh, that's the other thing, too. Charlie was sitting in a gun-free zone. He was a college campus. So if that shooter did have it, if that shooter did have intentions on the rest of the crowd, who was going to stop him?
That's what I'm saying. Like that easily could have went from him and 50 other people and just kept blowing down everything.
And also keep in mind, it's a little bit different with Kirk, right? Because one, he's not the president, so he's not going to have Secret Service that's going to scan the blocks. They're going to scan the buildings. He's going to have his own personal protection in front of him, and that's literally it, right? In front of thousands of people, that's what he's going to have, right? So apparently, like we said, there was a shooter on top of a building. Because let's be real,
I understand,
right?
Jay, but here's the thing. Wait a minute, you're missing the point, bro. His security team is not allowed to bring firearms onto that campus.
That's not necessarily true. Security can bring.
That's not always true.
No. But I'm saying, but Charlie Kirk's security does carry weapons. Because obviously the type of the profile that Charlie has, obviously, again, which I'll get into that a little bit, but like that's my thing, right? But this whole situation too, this is just kind of touch on it. It's just nasty work because if a lot of you guys have firearms, which I'm a big firearm collector myself, it's just nasty work because of somebody that did this. This is what you call it. This is a legitimate.
That's why I carry firearms. Is because there's crazy fucking people out there.
Yeah. Hold on, but this is the thing, right? This is how nasty it is, right? Because if someone that not only like planned this, but it's really once this goes on longer and the more investigations pop out, it's just what's nasty about it is
already getting dirty.
This is a legitimate like assassination. This is somebody that from
Jay,
200
the longer it goes on, it's already getting dirty. People are calling it.
I just find it. What's wild to me is the fact that whoever this was a legitimate like killer. Like this was a hitman type shot, because when you hit somebody in the jug at 200 plus out. That's not somebody that just
200 yards ain't that far, bro.
But again, we watched the same thing happen with Trump.
Okay,
right?
Let's see you do it.
Let's
see you fucking do it.
I did it with a pistol. I did it. Hold on. I did it with a pistol.
Done. I promise you, give me a rifle at 200 yards with a scope. I will crush that bitch, and I ain't shot a rifle in a long time. I guarantee it.
I mean, listen, it's doable, but I mean, to hit where you hit on point, that's not easy. That's not easy.
I'm not saying it ain't fucking, whatever, but
that's just crazy.
Easier than you think.
I mean,
it was more like 50 yards, but it was also, still a pistol.
So it's also to one of my other points too, right?
I want to address KP real quick.
Don't you? Is the panel open?
No.
Okay. Okay.
It's already a late show, and
No, I know because
I
that's
didn't
what I'm
even
saying.
talk
'Cause
one
I
bit
know
about
Color's been going
football.
back and forth with KP in the chat, so I didn't
I
know.
usually would open the panel and stuff like that, but I usually don't. But KP, you say that I have that privilege, and that some of us have to have the burden of suspicion, and I say I'm not saying you shouldn't because I can't understand everything. It's not my privilege; it's my choice, and I choose to not be involved with it one way or the other because I am not educated enough, and I choose to not be educated enough because it doesn't impact anything I could do for it. Me partaking in something else in some other city in some other way of life, however it got there. I don't know all the fucking roots. I'm gonna sit here and take everyone at their word and make my assumptions. I don't believe people. I don't. I don't believe them because people are too volatile in their feelings with most of the shit they get, and they probably have a lot of good reason to. And I'm willing to hear them and I'm empathetic to their problems. What I'm not going to do is get involved. And that's what I choose to do. I choose to stay the fuck out of it because I have my own beliefs and I have my own things, but it's only because I have my own lived experiences to go on. I don't even attempt to try to peer through other people's eyes and see what it is that they talk about when I can't see it with my own. So to put myself in their shoes is the wrong way to act. I have enough wisdom to either A, take them at their word, or B, take them at what they're saying and get the fuck out of there. That's how I choose to live it. I'm not saying I don't have feelings about things. I'm not saying that I see things and think that they're good or bad. I say, I can't do shit about it. And I'm not going to. And anyone who thinks that they're going to ends up getting on a rooftop and taking a pop shot at somebody. That's what happens. I don't let it consume me. Because this I won't talk about this tomorrow unless more comes out. So,
Well, I'm gonna say something real quick, crap, before I jump off. The thing that's really sad to me is that what all that happened today, within a couple of days or so, or maybe even shorter, is gonna go away until it happens again and again and again, and that's what's sad.
well,
But
what's
thank
sad
but
is Mr. Polk, because if it continues to happen, and now it's tit for tat over racial wars, over fucking political wars, over everything. Tit for tat leaves the whole world blind, and you ain't taking my eyes, dog. I love everybody. I believe the best in people. I'm aware of the most demons people get. I've walked every bit of life. I've slayed my own demons in ways, and that's just it. Like I walk this path because if you make me walk the other one, I'm going to be just as bad and evil as everybody else because that's what I'm capable of. And I
Really
choose
quick,
to not be that.
really quick. Everybody knows I get excited and like to exaggerate, but I'm also a person that it's not a liar. Let me just correct a record. It was more like 50 yards, okay? But it's still a pistol,
Color.
okay? I still hit something.
I think color a bullseye with a pistol
I
at
still hit
250
something
yards
on
out.
target from 50 yards with a pistol. I mean, it's 200 yards with a rifle is like, come on.
I don't know.
Kohler can't even see past 10 yards. Stop capping.
Nah, bro. I hit a cigarette butt with a 40 caliber at 10 yards.
Color's like that guy from in the Olympics that didn't have any of the gear and he was just strolling
Oh
up.
my god, dude! Yeah.
Color's that dude in the Olympics, the fucking ex-spy capper.
No, I'm that guy that would have been in the Olympics if I would have got into shooting when I was a teenager.
Nah, Color. Just tell him you were that guy. So, look, that's all I want to say about it. I get it. The community needs to heal. But there's people in this Dolphins community that this isn't their first offense, bro.
Facts.
That's it. This isn't the first offense. These are all people who literally tell people to not fuck with me, that they hate me, that they want to get me off of Twitter, out of the Dolphins community. And this is also what they applaud. They applaud the killing of political figures of any sort. If this was some fucking left-wing fucking activist, I would be appalled and disgusted by anyone who responded the way they did today for this right-wing guy. I don't give a fuck left or right. I don't wear red and I don't wear blue. I fucking wear purple. Okay, I wear purple. That's both them colors. That's where I stand in the middle. Sometimes I might agree a little this way. Sometimes I might agree a little that way. But I remain to stay centric. I always have and I always will. Because the second I start finding myself getting wrapped up in feelings about political shit, I'm like, oh, they got me with the propaganda. They're getting the Miami Dolphins propaganda on the politics and they getting me. Nah, I don't do that, dude. You know what I got feelings about? I got feelings about good people that do good things that I call friends. I got feelings about my family, my kids, and that shit. That's where I keep my feelings. I keep that other shit to other motherfuckers who want to get all caught up in that mess. That ain't me. So, anyhow, I mean, look, I was going to talk about Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill on the trading block, TuaSexuals, all that stuff. I thought I was only going to talk about this for 30 minutes, and here we are an hour and 45 minutes later. So, we're going to call it a wrap. Tomorrow, I've got a special show. I got some guests coming on. We'll have George from Fin Faithful podcast with Jason Sarney cruising in here. It's been a while since we had Sarney on. So we're going to bring those boys back in and talk to them about, what's going on with the Dolphins. And that should be fun. That should be a fun time.
Well, I mean, listen, on the since we're on that positive standpoint, right? Be the change, not the problem. And with that being said, I know we're about to dip out, but boy, real quick, Saturday we got the Canelo fight, and we have a hell of a college slate. Shout out to the Florida Gators for having to beat LSU. Just want to make that shit loud and clear.
Hey, listen, you beat LSU. Guess what? You back.
Well, we got to see Miami next week.
Yeah, you back for. Listen, I hope you beat LSU, so I don't have to argue with people that that win over Florida doesn't really count.
And then don't forget, Cap, Sunday, we're back, baby. Nothing mattered week 1. We're fucking back.
Week one. Everybody's 0-1 right now, so forget it.
It was preseason week 1.
Yeah,
preseason.
What?
We're back.
We're preseason week 1.
Bills won.
No, Color. We're not counting them.
Yeah, we don't talk about them.
We're not shooting for the AFC East, Color. We're shooting for wild card seed 5.
Facts. And the competition's 0-1 right now.
We're shooting for the AFC least.
Yeah. So appreciate you coming up, Mr. Paul Tonk, J Miami, Color. Shout out to John who left when I did, but I appreciate John coming up. John don't get to come around here all that often. I wish John would come around YouTube more.
Bro, what is Greg talking about?
Don't like YouTube, bro. He's like,
what is this volleyball game Greg keeps
bro, he's ideologically opposed to YouTube. That's why
he's not though. Like every time I have him come over here, he has a great time with us. And he's always like, I need to come back to YouTube more. I get it. It's just the convenience of Twitter, but the content.
I mean, it's a good thing he don't act on his ideology like that guy did today.
Oh, God. I would say this. I get the convenience of Twitter, but the toxicity and just all the other stuff. And it's fun. I like that. I like the troll on Twitter, but it's also great because a lot of where I keep, a lot of connections. It's easy to DM and call people through Twitter for sources and shit. Like you meet new people. People are very giving with football information. At least that's been my experience as far as where I've been getting a lot of good information from. And that's fun, but the hardcore, really scripted, fun content, and we get messy here on the tailgate. I don't think there's a YouTube channel with panels that gets. Well, there's a couple, but I would say for the Dolphins community, we're the messiest ones out there, and that's just how it goes. But also at the same time, the entertainment value and everything. It's not that shit that was happening on X today. You're not going to see that on Twitter or on YouTube. Certainly not on our channel, and certainly not in the Dolphins community. And that's really where the lines separate. You're getting a better class of character and on here because people put their face on. You see who we are at some point. Everybody gets on here, and there's nowhere to hide from it. And there's a little bit of honor, respectability, and pride behind some of the stuff. YouTube really with people make these X accounts and they'll just a lot of these people we're going to call out and that the community will look to lash out against, they'll just make a new one and come back. They've done it.
I mean, everybody knows that I ain't been too pleased with the way YouTube has decided to cull their content over the years, but it seems the model has seemed to work out. They've got a much more respectable viewing product these days than a lot of the other places, man.
It certainly is. It certainly is. So,
I mean, you had about 5 different channels on YouTube today that had, 120 something thousand live viewers at one point because of this whole Charlie Kirk thing.
Well, it ain't slowing down. YouTube hasn't lost a step. I know they got all these other sites, but YouTube's still running strong.
Yeah. Real quick, you said we have Sarney in here tomorrow night?
Sarney's coming on tomorrow with George from the
man.
Fins Faithful podcast. So that should be a good talk. We're gonna talk Dolphins tomorrow. We'll be right back.
Sarney in forever. I have to come by and say hi.
Yeah, come through. So we'll see you all next time. Fins up, everybody. Take it easy.